So this evening, or this morning, I guess, depending on which part of the world you're in, we are sharing a number of prayers to Lord Narasinghadev in honor of his appearance, beginning with some of the prayers called the Nishringa KAVACHA, or that's a shield. The Nishringa KAVACHA of PRAHLAD MAHARAJ. Prahlad says, his mouth is wide open. He has 3 eyes, and he is as radiant as the autumn moon. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have gone outside to see the autumn moon, but it isn't even autumn, and it's just beautiful. Apparently, tomorrow, beginning tonight, I think, will be the largest that the moon will be in the entire year. So if you have a chance, get out there and check it out. Chandra's out there in honor of Lord Nishringa. He is embraced by Lakshmi Devi on his left, and his form is the shelter of all opulences, both material and spiritual. The Lord has 4 arms. His limbs are very soft. He's decorated with golden earrings. His chest is resplendent like that of a lotus flower. And his arms are decorated with jewel-studded ornaments. He's dressed in a spotless yellow garment, which exactly resembles molten gold. He is the original cause of existence itself, beyond the mundane sphere, for the great demigods headed by Indra. He appears to be bedecked with rubies, which are blazingly effulgent. His 2 feet are very attractive, and he is armed with various weapons. He has the conch, he has a Sudarshan disc, and so forth. Garuda joyfully offers his prayers with great reverence. Having seated Lord Nishringa upon the lotus of one's heart, one should recite this mantra: May Lord Nishringa, who protects all the planetary systems, protect me. Although the Lord is all-pervading, nevertheless, he hid himself within a pillar. May he protect my speech. May he protect the results of my activities. And may Lord Nishringa, whose eyes are the sun and fire, may he protect my eyes. May Lord Narihari, who is pleased by the prayers of the best of sages, protect my memory. May he who has the no may, I'm sorry, this must be a misprint. May he who has the name Lord Nishringa, who is the knower of all sciences, may he protect my sense of taste. May he who is the face of beauty itself, as the full moon, and who is offered prayers by Prahlad Maharaj, may he protect my face. May Lord Nishringa, who is the knower of all sciences, protect my sense of taste. May he whose face is as beautiful as the full moon, and who is offered prayers by Prahlad Maharaj, also protect my face. May Lord Nishringa protect my throat. He is the sustainer of the earth and the performer of unlimited wonderful activities. May he protect my shoulders. His arms are resplendent with transcendental weapons, and may he protect my arms. May the Lord who bestows benediction upon the demigods protect my hands, and may he protect me from all sides. May he who is achieved by the perfect yogi protect my heart. May the Lord Hari protect my dwelling place. May he who ripped apart the chest and abdomen of the great demon Hiranyakashipu protect my waist, and may Lord Nri Hari protect my navel. The Lord has offered prayers by Lord Brahma, who has sprung from his own navel. Having marked one's body with tilak, taking Achman with water, or Archana with water, and reciting this mantra 3 times, one will find that the fear of all inauspicious planets is removed. So that's quite a mantra. Protect my head, protect my heart, protect my face, protect my eyes, protect my taste, protect my mouth, protect my shoulders, protect my throat, protect my arms, protect my hands, protect me from all sides, protect my heart, protect my dwelling place. So reciting this mantra 3 times, one will find that the fear of all inauspicious planets is removed. That person who recites this mantra, who is meditating upon Lord Nishringadev, has all of his diseases vanquished, including those of the abdomen. Lord Nishringa roars loudly and causes others to roar. With his multitude of arms, he tears demons asunder and kills them in this way. He is always seeking out and tormenting the demonic descendants of Diti. Those are the demonic group. Diti and Aditi are the demigod group. Both on this earthly planet and on the higher planets. And he throws them down and scatters them. He cries with great anger as he destroys the demons in all directions. And yet, with his unlimited hands, he sustains, he protects, and he nourishes the cosmic manifestation. I offer my respectful obeisances again and again and again to the Lord who has assumed the form of a transcendental lion. But Prahlad is not the only one who has written some wonderful prayers to honor and glorify Lord Nishringa. Not by a long shot. I found 5 lovely prayers by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which I'd like to share with you. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written 5 prayers in the Navadvip Bhava Taranga for receiving the mercy of Lord Nishringa. These prayers are certainly assurance to all sincere devotees that the worship of Lord Nishringa is purely in the line of aspiring love and devotion to Shri Radha and Krishna. Within my sinful heart, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies, which are headed by lust, perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, my desire for fame, my cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Nishringa, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the unlimited desire to serve Krishna. Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nishringa for the benediction of worshiping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip, perfectly safe and perfectly free from all difficulties of material world. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, when will he ever become pleased and show me his mercy? Even though Lord Nishringa is terrifying towards those sinful souls, nevertheless, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he be pleased to speak the words of compassion to me? I am a worthless fool, and thereby he will make me fearless. He will say, "Dear child, sit down freely and live happily in Sri Gauranga Dham. May you nicely worship the divine couple, and may you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Shri Radha Krishna. For this worship overflows with sweet and unlimited nectar." Saying this, that Lord of all will that Lord delightedly place his own divine lotus feet upon my head? Will he? I will experience sublime love for the divine couple Radha Krishna, and I will undergo the ecstatic transformations called sattvika. And falling on the ground, I will roll about at the door of Sri Nishringa's temple. These are the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the following prayers are called Sri Nakastuti, and they were offered to Madhvacharya. May the widespread and auspicious nails of the lion-faced Narasinghadev, who is in the company of his consort Lakshmi, may he always protect us. His nails are like thunderbolts, and they are highly skilled in tearing asunder the lofty mountain-like heads of the herds of strong and intoxicated elephants in the form of demons, the foes of Indra. His nails are also meditated upon by groups of devas and demigods with their broad minds which are concentrated upon him, and from which the darkness of ignorance is driven away to a great distance, and the internal enemies of lust, anger, greed, selfishness, etc., are torn and torn and torn again. O consort of Lakshmi, although I've made an all-round study of the Shastras, I do not find anything that is equal to you. You are my master. The thing thought superior to you is therefore flung far away and is similar to the eighth Tust, which does not exist. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and their hosts are reduced to ashes by the sparks of fire resembling glowworms and issuing from the curved edge of your right eye, which is filled with masses of wrath. Then there is the Nishringa Stuti. This is a powerful prayer to Lord Nishringa for one's protection from the dark elements and demons of this world. These kinds of prayers are wonderful for you to be able to wake up to in the morning and recite them, or record them and play them back so your ears can always be hearing them. What a wonderful way to wake up in the morning, begging Lord Nishringa to protect you throughout the day and glorify him and honor his service. The radiance of 1,000 suns is the glow of the face of the Lord. His eyes are fiery and his voice roars like the turbulent ocean of devastation. His body is wet with the blood of Hiranyakashipu. Lord Nishringa, the redeemer of the fear-ridden, I bow down at your lotus feet. Your effulgence is dazzling like that of the destructive sun, Pralayavravi. It glows, it glitters, and makes the wicked tremble with fear. You laugh in a piercing high tone at the fear, the ignorance, and the anger of demons. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Your lotus feet are reddened by the blood of the enemy, the demons. 14 lokas are scared by stamping of your feet. The demigods assemble. They fear and tremble and pray for your mercy. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. You take great pleasure in slaughtering the armies of demons. You wield your heavy mace in a most cunning manner with the force of a mountain. As you chop demons into pieces, others immediately flee for their lives. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. The mountains of your hips are nicely decorated with yellow garments, which appear just like lightning in its intense brilliance, attacking fiercely he who has the foremost position, the seat of King Indra. You remove the threat of that exceedingly wicked one, O fierceless, O ferocious one. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. As your nails are sharp like thunderbolts and tore into the abdomen of the enemy, blood surged from the body of the demon Hiranyakashipu and bathed you. Your lotus-like navel is deep and your abdomen is decorated with the auspicious 3 lines. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Your 2 hands, as they directly burst and thrust open the chest of the son of Diti, appear like a necklace of stars. Supporting him on your knees, you tore his chest apart, which blocked the path of the stars. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Your mane is burning and monstrous. You cause the enemy to fall from his position by tearing apart his chest. Once attaining this opportunity under the broad roof of the clouds and sky, you raise your hand, powerful as a mace, to strike. I meditate upon you in this form. And I ask you to burn Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Appearing brilliantly illuminated, your neck with hundreds of mane hair is raised lightly and appears to be bitten by 8 bolts of lightning. You divide the chest in the very strong position of Hiranyakashipu. You are garlanded with his ghastly entrails. Oh, my dear Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. The effulgence of many suns are destroyed by your uncheckable potency. The many weapons sent against you are like sacrificial offerings, and you reply with unlimited weaponry. Put down, strike, and slay my illusion. Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. My lord, your fearful countenance, with tongue extended and sharp teeth blazing, as if illuminated from within, appears as the peak of a huge mountain of gems lit by the sunrise and the fire coming from within its caves. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. The enemy of Indra, Hiranyakashipu. He made waves upon the ocean of demigods and took the Shraddha offerings meant for the forefathers. Confounding the intelligence of the demigods, he minimized their austerity and their positions in various ways. But you, O Nishringa, you melted him in the pot of your shrill laughter. Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Every living being in the 3 worlds, down to the blade of grass, was scorched by the flame of Hiranyakashipu. But you, with your 3 eyes, have annihilated this flame. Your appearance is threatening to the miscreants, and your color is coppery like the newly risen sun. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. You wander about without any resistance, for you are the supreme power and the maintainer of the earth. Hail to you, O Lord. You are effulgent, you are fearful to your enemies, and although you yourself fear no one. You divided into 9 parts the burden of the earth, Hiranyakashipu, simply by the effulgence produced by the movement of your eyebrows. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Your ears are prominent. Your earrings swing to and fro, and your face appears ferocious. Your eyebrows give your forehead a threatening aspect, and you are most beautiful with your high nose and reddish lips. O giver of benedictions, well-wisher of the demigods and devotees, the enemy is scattered by the effulgence of your mane. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. You wear no armor, and yet you are decorated by the beautiful locks of shining hair and many ornaments made of jewels. Your bodily effulgence appears as if you had swallowed the newly risen sun. Your hands exhibit various mudras, and your waist is decorated with a gold chain that makes a tinkling noise. Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. You are equipped with bow and arrow, as well as various astras, missiles, clubs, mace, rod, for controlling elephants, the noose, the trident, Placing the enemy upon your lap and tearing open his abdomen, he is thus purified of all contamination. And therefore you take his intestines and wear them as a garland of victory. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Fall upon my foes, fall upon them, fall upon them. Bewilder them and drive them far away. Consume, consume, consume their bodies. Incinerate and burn them asunder. Conquer, conquer, conquer forcibly my foes and their followers. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. Even Lord Brahma, even Lord Shiva, in King Indra, they are all bewildered to see your tongue like a firebrand pressed between your gigantic teeth. O three-eyed one, your face appears most fearful, like time personified. Sound out the fate of the demons and please protect me, your surrendered servant. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. O supreme form, have mercy upon me. Dispel my ignorance just as you uprooted the child of Diti. You are never subjected to the sufferings of material existence. Neither are you ever defeated. Indeed, whoever you favor will always triumph. Be victorious. Bestow upon me the divine vision to see you always. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. This prayer I offer in devotional service to Lord Nishringa, the destroyer of all inauspicious things. That Lord of the universe, the universal teacher, appearing as if garlanded by the destroyed body of Hiranyakashipu, he bestows all good fortune and opulence upon his worshippers. Burn, Nishringa, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. The Lord appears in a seemingly bitter form to act for the protection of his devotee, Prahlad. Anyone who reads this description of the character of Lord Narahari causes his enemies to retreat, and his sins are immediately undone and vanquished. Burn, Nishringa. Burn my adversaries of lust. Burn my adversaries of the mind. Burn my adversaries of love for material things. Burn my adversarial false ego. Burn with your unbearable, unbearable power. Burn my enemies. When I first started to read that, I thought, my goodness, this guy's really got to, burn my adversaries. It's like, what's he going to do? Conquer the world? No, he simply wants to conquer his false ego. He simply wants to conquer his mind. And he knows that he can't do it, that only the fierceness and phenomenal Lord Nishringa can do it for him. So these are the prayers that I found to share with you about Lord Nishringa. I have a couple of more things to share, but before we get into that, I'd like to ask you if you have a question. I've thrown a lot at you this evening. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask before we move on. I'll take that to mean there are no questions. everybody knows everything. That's wonderful. So the next thing I wanted to share with you are a couple of modern day miracles of Lord Nishringa. One was very interesting. Happened in India just some years ago. It's called I Want My Eyes Back. And there was this girl who had an incurable disease of the eyes that were slowly taking away her sight. And she worshiped Lord Nishringa in the temple. And she would come there daily and make an offering and pray. And as she sat there in prayer, she heard a roar, like a roar of a lion. And she looked around and didn't see anything. And so she ignored it and came back the next day, made her offering, sat in her prayers, and she heard the roar of a lion again. And then she heard someone say, I want my eyes back. And she's, what? Again, the voice repeated, I want my eyes back. And she didn't know what to make of this. Is this just something in her mind or what? So she came back the next day and heard the same thing, louder. And she said, she prayed to Lord Nishringa, what is this voice that I'm hearing? Who wants their eyes back? What is this? And the revelation came upon her that some time ago, a devotee came to the temple where she worshiped Lord Nishringa. And this devotee had somehow bought or found or somehow procured 2 big, beautiful yellow sapphires. And he came to the temple and he told the pujari that he wanted the sapphires to be the new eyes of Lord Nishringa. And so, not wanting to offend this devotee and realizing that he had probably, maybe spent a fortune on these beautiful, beautiful yellow sapphires, he installed the sapphires as the eyes of the Lord Nishringa deity in the temple. And the voice said, I want my eyes back. And she's like, what can I do? And somehow or other, it was made clear to her that she had to tell this story to the pujari and let him know that Lord Nishringa wanted his eyes back. And so she went, after the offering, she went into the pujari area where prasad was being prepared and offerings were being made and so on and so forth. And she got the attention of the pujari, very unusual for a woman, especially in India, to walk into that area. And when the pujari was over the shock of this woman accosting him, she told him what she felt Nishringa had told her. And the pujari remembered and was very glad at heart, because he didn't feel very good about having installed these yellow sapphires himself. And as it turned out, the original red eyes of Nishringa were there behind the yellow sapphires. So when they when they took off or took out or unglued or whatever the yellow sapphires, the Lord's original red eyes were there. I don't know whether they were rubies or whether it was just so much, transcendental paint or what, I don't know. But this is the one of the more recent stories attributed to Lord Narasinghadev. And there is another one that I'd also like to share with you. It happened to a simple Vaishnava family in South Africa. They had a 5-year-old daughter. And the daughter was just so devoted to Lord Nishringa. She loved the story. She found him to be funny, as he looked like a half lion and half man. And she felt very attracted to him. And she often told her playmates about her favorite deity, this wonderful lion. And the kids from these South African kids always wondered what sort of god this could be that was a lion. And what can a 5-year-old girl know about this god? She wasn't initiated, not even her parents, as far as anyone can remember. There were Vaishnavas, but they weren't initiated. The father of the family did follow a guru and surely later accepted initiation. But there was a small Hindu community, and they were in close touch with them. One day, the girl was playing outside with her ball, together with other children beside the street. The ball, of course, fell onto the street, and the girl ran after the precious ball. Well, they lived on a road that was very rarely used. It was a country road. But at this time, just as fate would have it, a very fast truck came running down the road, full speed. The girl playing, looking for her ball, didn't see the truck coming, didn't hear it. The father was on the second floor of the house, and he saw the baby girl out the window on the street, but he also saw this huge truck bearing down closer and closer to his daughter at full speed. The father yelled for his daughter, but she didn't hear him. So he jumped out the window of the second floor to save his daughter. And in doing so, he broke both of his legs. And he had to remain lying on the ground, could do nothing to save his daughter. And he watched how this little girl was hit by the truck and thrown through the air some 30 yards, about 20 meters away, landed in some bushes. All the children and neighbors around who observed this froze, their blood froze. The father later said his only desire when he saw this was that he wanted to die. From the other direction came a police car, which also witnessed the accident. The truck just went on, hit and run, and the policeman stopped his car across the street and stopped the truck to stop him. The truck driver hardly stopped the truck, and he seemed very drunk. The policeman immediately called the ambulance and ran over to the motionless girl lying in the grass. The closest hospital was a small private clinic. The ambulance got there, but the clinic refused to take the girl, being afraid that they wouldn't have the necessary devices or machines to help the injuries this girl must have, having been hit by a truck going at full blast. They advised the policeman to call the main hospital, that only they could efficiently help her, as her spine is probably broken. The policeman, in despair, not even knowing where the father of the girl was, he didn't even know where the father of the girl was. Still lying in the front yard with 2 broken legs. Actually, he didn't even know if the girl was still alive, and he didn't dare to touch her. However, in the end, she was somehow brought to the right hospital. The policeman accompanied the girl, and finally, the father arrived. The chief doctor heard what had happened to the girl, and they immediately x-rayed her to see the first results. The policeman wanted to stay and know how the girl was doing, and so he waited there and waited and waited to see the results. Everyone at the hospital was shocked to hear what just an excruciatingly terrific accident that had happened to the girl, that she had been thrown 30 yards into the air by the force of the truck. So the nurse brought the x-ray pictures to the doctor, and the doctor was just beside himself. He looked at the x-rays and he said, "What the hell are you giving me?" He started yelling at the nurse, "For God's sake, can't you at least bring me the right pictures?" These things are about death and life. I need to know what's going on. He threatened to fire her as it was unacceptable to make these kinds of mistakes. The nurse was beside herself. She was scared and she didn't understand what was going on. Those were the pictures of the 5-year-old girl that was hit by the truck. The nurse wasn't aware yet of what had happened to the girl. The doctor said this cannot be the correct x-ray, because on the x-ray there is not a single broken bone. So the doctor, time and time again, repeated, "This is impossible. It cannot be. It's impossible. It cannot be." Then the girl awoke from her faint. She regained consciousness, and she told a story that made a tour throughout the media in Africa and Europe. Because in the moment that she picked the ball off the street, she saw the truck coming at her, and the only thing she could do was to yell out for help. But she didn't call for mommy. She didn't call for daddy. She called for Lord Nishringa. At that moment, when the truck should have hit her, she suddenly saw how Lord Nishringa picked her up from the ground. He smiled at her and he said, "Don't be afraid. Nothing will happen to you." The girl continued the story that the Lord had put her down on the other side of the street into the grass. But when putting her down, he marked her waist with his nails, which still hurt a little bit. She spoke about how beautiful Nishringa was, his hair, his reddish eyes, but his claws were very sharp. She said, you know, he really should cut them. She said he wore a golden dhoti or sarong. The doctor didn't understand anything. And he told the policeman she was still in shock and was hallucinating, which is normal. The girl was double-checked and triple-checked for injuries. But the only injury they found on her body were those scratches. And the doctor said, it's probably from some wild animal like, I don't know, a lion or a wolf. I've seen cases like this before. So he was disturbed. And he asked if they had brought the girl to the hospital, as this one was injured by a wild animal and not injured by a truck. They must be mistaken. Nobody was really very clear about what had happened. The same doctor and the nurse who took care of her later became devotees. And later, they learned from the parents who this lion was. The little girl was very attracted to this form of Krishna. And in her despair, she called out his name. Lord Nishringa didn't care. Didn't care if she was initiated or if her parents were initiated. He didn't care if she had the right to call his name, because he protects his devotees. That protection he offers to all devotees who sincerely worship him in their hearts. And of course, obviously this girl was no common soul. Who knows what amazing things she must have done in her previous life, and who knows what amazing things she will do as she becomes an adult. So, Jaya Lord Narasinghadev, Jaya Lord Narasinghadev, Jaya Lord Narasinghadev. Let us glorify and worship Lord Nishringa, who is ferocity personified to the demons and love personified to the devotees. Jaya Shri Nishringa, Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Siddheshvar Paramahamsa iti namine.
Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Siddheshvar Paramahamsa iti namine.
Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine.
Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda,
Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Madhashir Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Madhashir Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namaste Narashinghaya, Hiranyakashipu Raja, Shiratankanakalaye, Ito Nishringa Parato Nishingo, Yato Yamitato Nishingo, Bai Nishingo, Ridai Nishingo, Nishimadim Saranam Prapadaye, Avakara Kamala Maredaka, Adukashinga, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanubringa, Kisavadrita Nararirupa, Jai Jagadishare, Jaya Jagadishare, Jaya Jagadishare. Namaste Narashinghaya, Prahlada Hiranyakashipu Raja, Shiratankanakalaye, Ito Nishinga Parato Nishingo, Yato Yamitato Nishinga, Bai Nishingo, Ridai Nishingo, Nishimadim Saranam Prapadaye, Avakara Kamala Marenaka, Abukashinga, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanubringa, Kisavadrita Nararirupa, Jai Jagadishare, Jaya Jagadishare, Jaya Jagadishare. Namaste Narashinghaya, Prahlada Hiranyakashipu Raja,
Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you so much, Saradasu and Sir Robert, for your precious time and sharing your sweet and beautiful chanting.